Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show you how I was able to repair this missing grout from my tile in my bathroom shower pan. So I put down this tile maybe about a year and a half ago, and just through extensive cleaning with too hard of a brush, I actually chipped out some of the existing grout, and I'll show you how I was able to repair this quickly without having to scrape out any of the existing grout. Let's run through what we'll need for this project. First off, you're going to need to get yourself some grout. This is the Ultra Color Plus by Mape. You will need a float to spread the grout, and you'll need some sort of bucket or pan to mix the grout around in. Now this is again the Ultra Color Plus by Mape, and this is what I used originally, so it's the same color and it should match perfectly. You will need a sponge to clean the surface originally, but also to wipe the excess grout away after it dries. And you will need a microfiber cloth or something equivalent that can wipe away the grout haze. I'm going to start by mixing the grout in the pan. I'm going to pour about maybe a quarter cup of dried grout into my mixing pan. Don't need a lot here because it's just a small hole that I'm trying to fill. Now, if you are mixing large quantities of grout, I would definitely recommend following the mixing instructions to a T. But since I only need about a spoonful of grout for this application, I'm gonna wing it. After all, this is a DIY channel. So with my quarter cup of grout poured in my mixing pan, I am going to slowly add some water and mix that around a bit. So I'm looking for a cake batter consistency here. I just want to mention that if you are mixing large quantities of grout, you definitely don't want to use this method. You'll want to use like an actual paddle mixer that is specifically designed for blending these ingredients together. But since I'm DIYing this and really winging it, I'm using a popsicle stick, and it'll work for this quantity, but it's gonna take a little bit of trial and error to nail that consistency. I'm not gonna get it perfect on the first go, and I will add a little bit more water or grout mix depending on how this turns out to get that desired consistency that I'm looking for. So again, I'm looking for like a cake batter consistency here. This is a little too loose and sloppy, so I'm gonna add a bit more grout mix and give that a good mix around until I get a good peanut buttery cake batter consistency. And just to give you an idea, this took about 4 to 5 minutes of hand mixing. And then I'm gonna let this slake for about 5 to 10 minutes and let the chemicals activate before giving it one final remix before we use it. I made sure to give my work area a good cleaning beforehand. I used a vacuum to get any hairs or dust out of there and wiped away with the sponge to pick up any remaining debris. Okay, so here is the location of the missing piece of grout in my shower pan. I'm just gonna get a little dollop, a couple teaspoons worth of grout on the very corner of my float. I'm going to press it in using a downward force on the front of the float to make sure it's pressed down as far as it can be where the grout was missing. I also want to hit this from multiple angles to make sure it's completely filling in so that it doesn't leave any spots unfilled. And I'm just going over that a few times, pressing down firmly until it's filled in and smoothed out. I let the grout set up for about 15 to 20 minutes per the bag instructions, and then I went back with a clean, damp sponge and began wiping away any excess grout. I only get about one wipe per clean side before having to clean the sponge to avoid leaving behind any haze from the grout. That's some grout residue right there. I'm gonna use this clean side to do this next swipe. I repeated the process a few times, getting as much of that grout haze off as I could at this point, and that grout is completely filled in and looking pretty good. It blends really nicely, and I already can't tell where the new grout is. Now, if you were just going to repair some of this grout, I actually would recommend scraping it out before adding new grout, but since this was just a piece of missing grout, I went ahead and put it on top, and I'm hoping for the best. Comment on this video if you guys want to hear an update about how this held up over the long term. And finally, after that has dried off, I am going over the surface with a microfiber cloth to buff away any of the dried up grout residue. You really want to make sure you get that off, because that will harden and stick to your tile and just make it look hazy. And if you want to put any sort of sealer over it, you're going to need to make sure that the tile is clear of any haze or any dirt or anything like that. So here is the finished product, and I gave this about 24 hours to completely set up before we started using this again. And as you can see, the gap is no more. It is completely filled in with grout, and no scraping was necessary for this one. Just popped in some new grout where I was missing the old grout, and it looks good. It blends seamlessly, so I'm happy about this one, and happy I could get it done in true DIY fashion with the tools and materials I had on hand. Thanks for tuning in to Home IQ DIY. Please like and subscribe, and check out the channel for more videos just like this one. Peace!